Some criminals are never caught. They simply vanish. One minute, they're the focus of a massive manhunt. Then, poof, gone. They slip into the shadows, leaving behind only questions and frustration for law enforcement. How does someone just disappear, even in today's world? Today, we're diving into 10 infamous cases where criminals pulled off the ultimate vanishing act. These aren't just fugitives. They're legends who haunt investigators to this day. Let's get into it. Let's start with a classic, a tale that has captivated imaginations for decades. The enigma that is D.B. Cooper. A name synonymous with daring heists and unsolved mysteries. It all began on Thanksgiving Eve, 1971, a time of family gatherings and festive cheer, but for one plane it was the start of something extraordinary. A man calling himself Dan Cooper, though later misidentified as D.B. Cooper, steps into the narrative. He boards a Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 heading from Portland to Seattle, a short hop with a long shadow. He's dressed like any other businessman of the era, blending seamlessly into the crowd. Nothing about him screams master criminal. He settles in, orders a bourbon and soda, a seemingly ordinary act before the storm. Then he hands a neatly folded note to Florence Schaffner, a flight attendant changing the course of aviation history. The note read simply, "I have a bomb," a chilling message that instantly transformed the flight. His demands? A list that seemed both audacious and meticulously planned. $200,000 in unmarked $20 bills, a considerable sum at the time. 4 parachutes, ensuring not just his escape, but seemingly the safety of others. And a fully refueled plane, ready for a second takeoff into the unknown. The exchange goes smoothly at Seattle-Tacoma Airport. Authorities comply with his requests. Passengers are released unharmed but undoubtedly shaken. Cooper gets his ransom and the parachutes, the stakes are raised, and under his instructions the plane takes off again, this time heading south towards Mexico. Somewhere over the forests of Washington between Seattle and Reno, he lowers and opens the aft staircase, preparing for his audacious exit. He jumps into the stormy night, a leap of faith, or perhaps a calculated risk. With the money strapped securely to his body, he vanishes into the darkness. He's never seen again, disappearing as if swallowed by the earth. The FBI launches a massive manhunt, one of the largest and most publicized in history. No body is ever recovered, no parachute is found intact, only fragments, hinting at the perilous jump. Just a few decaying $20 bills, positively identified from the ransom money, are discovered years later along the Columbia River. Did he survive the jump and the harsh conditions? Did he die in the unforgiving wilderness, a victim of the elements? Or did D.B. Cooper, against all odds, pull off the perfect crime, vanishing without a trace? His fate remains one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries, a puzzle that continues to fascinate and frustrate. The legend of D.B. Cooper endures, fueled by speculation and unanswered questions, a ghost story for the jet age, a reminder that some mysteries may never be solved. Was he a criminal mastermind, meticulously planning every detail? Or was he just incredibly lucky, a gambler who hit the jackpot with a daring, desperate act? We may never know the truth behind the man who jumped into legend. Now across the pond to the UK, Lord Lucan, Richard John Bingham, 7th Earl of Lucan, charming, titled, and a gambling addict. His marriage collapses, debts mount, and desperation grows. In 1974, the family nanny is murdered and his wife attacked. Lucan vanishes. His car is found abandoned, blood-stained. He's never seen again. Did he drown, or did his wealthy friends help him escape? Sightings pop up for decades, but he's declared dead in 2016. The mystery of Lord Lucan remains a classic British whodunit. Some killers crave attention, none more so than the Zodiac Killer. In late 1960s San Francisco, he terrorizes the city, taunting police, sending cryptic letters and claiming dozens of victims. He targets couples, a cab driver, and even wears a bizarre executioner's hood. His ciphers stump experts, his identity remains a secret. Despite a massive investigation, he simply stops, fading into the fog. The Zodiac becomes America's most famous, unidentified serial killer. No arrests, no closure, just a chilling legend. The year was 2005. The idyllic island of Aruba became the center of a chilling mystery. The disappearance of Natalie Holloway, a vibrant young woman, gripped not just the island but the entire world. The story quickly became international news. Just 18 years old, Natalie was celebrating her high school graduation. She was last seen leaving a popular nightclub in the early morning hours with Joran van der Sloot and 2 other men. Van der Sloot's account of that night has been a tangled web of inconsistencies. His story changes constantly, each version more perplexing than the last. Despite intense scrutiny, concrete evidence remains scarce, leaving investigators with more questions than answers. Massive searches involving countless volunteers and law enforcement were launched across the island. They turned up nothing. No body was ever recovered, offering no closure to a family desperate for answers. Years later, Vandersloot's dark path continued. He was later caught and convicted for the murder of Stephanie Flores in Peru, but even behind bars, he never definitively reveals what happened to Natalie, fueling further speculation and torment. At times, he confesses to involvement, only to later recant his statements, adding another layer of complexity to the case. He manipulates the media, playing a twisted game of cat and mouse with the public. Years after her disappearance, Natalie is declared legally dead, a formality that offered little solace. Her family is left with endless questions, forever haunted by the unknown circumstances surrounding her fate. A case defined by frustration, heartbreak, and the agonizing absence of definitive answers. The mystery endures, a stark reminder of a lost life and the enduring pain of the unknown. James Whitey Bulger, a name that still echoes through the streets of South Boston. He was a ruthless Boston mob boss, the head of the Winter Hill Gang, feared and respected in equal measure. His reign was marked by violence and intimidation. But behind the facade of a hardened criminal, Bulger was also an FBI informant, a double life that allowed him to operate with impunity for years. He was a master of vanishing in plain sight, a chameleon who could blend into any environment. For 16 long years he was one of America's most wanted criminals, a phantom eluding capture. His legend grew with each passing year. He was protected for years by a corrupt FBI handler, a childhood friend named John Connolly, who shielded him from prosecution. But as the law finally started to close in, the walls began to crumble around him. Bulger received a crucial tip, and he disappeared with his girlfriend, leaving behind a life of crime and notoriety. The FBI launched a massive international manhunt, chasing leads across the globe, determined to bring him to justice. But for years, he was hiding quietly in plain sight, living a seemingly normal life in Santa Monica, California. He was finally caught in 2011, bringing an end to one of the most infamous manhunts in American history. His capture came after a vigilant neighbor recognized him from a news report. It wasn't a glamorous fugitive life, far from the lavish lifestyle he once enjoyed. He was just a ghost among the living, an aging man trying to disappear into the background. Bulger's story serves as a stark lesson in how power, corruption, and connections can keep you hidden, even from the long arm of the law. But even the most elusive ghosts, the ones who seem to have vanished completely, eventually get found. Because sometimes the truth, the key to unlocking the mystery, is lurking right next door, waiting to be discovered. Canada's own crime legend, Rocco Perry, the king of the bootleggers. In the 1920s, he builds a liquor empire with his partner Besha Starkman. After her murder, his power fades. In 1944, Perry leaves for a walk and vanishes. Rumors swirl. Mob hit, body in concrete, or a staged escape. No body, no charges, just whispers. Did he outsmart everyone, or meet a violent end? The fate of Rocco Perry remains one of Canada's greatest mysteries. William Bradford Bishop Jr., a U.S. diplomat with a dark secret. In 1976, after being passed over for a promotion, he allegedly murders his entire family with a sledgehammer. He buries and burns the bodies, then disappears. Bishop is intelligent, multilingual, and an experienced outdoorsman. Sightings pop up in Europe, but he's never found. The FBI keeps him on their most wanted list, a family annihilator who simply vanished, the ultimate betrayal, and the ultimate escape. Alcatraz, supposedly escape-proof. But in 1962, Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers pull off a legendary prison break. They dig through walls, craft dummy heads, and build a raft from raincoats. They vanish into the bay. Only debris and a wallet are found. The FBI says they drowned, but no bodies ever surface. The Anglin family claims the brothers survived. Did they make it to freedom, or did the bay claim them? The ghosts of Alcatraz keep their secrets. Jean Lafitte, pirate, smuggler, and legend of the Gulf. He runs a pirate kingdom in Louisiana, outwits authorities, and even helps win the Battle of New Orleans. Pardoned, he moves to Texas, but old habits return. In 1821, he burns his own town and sails away. Some say he died at sea, others claim he lived under a new name. Lafitte's fate is lost to history. Pirate, patriot, or myth, he simply vanished into legend. Glenn Stewart Godwin, convicted murderer and master escape artist. In 1987, he escapes Folsom Prison, crawls through a storm drain and disappears. He resurfaces in Mexico, is arrested for drug trafficking and sent to a maximum security prison. He escapes again allegedly by bribing guards. Since then, nothing, just rumors and dead ends. Fluent in Spanish, likely living in Latin America, Godwin remains a phantom. 2 escapes, 2 countries, 0 captures. He's one of the FBI's most elusive fugitives, the ultimate modern-day ghost. 10 criminals, 10 mysteries, each ending with a question mark. They remind us that sometimes justice slips through the cracks. These stories become legends, haunting us with what-ifs. The not knowing is what lingers. Which of these cases will ever be solved? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more chilling mysteries.